Hey everybody, we're here to go ahead and do a glass only replacement on the Samsung Galaxy S6. We'll be using a heat gun, a infrared thermometer, and I have this little nifty contraption holding up some Modium wire, this stuff right here. I'm not sure how well this is going to work out, but we'll give it a whirl. Now this video is not the best, the wire does break, and I end up using playing cards, which is what I probably should have done in the first place. I just trying to be extra careful because I've cracked one of these screens in the past. So you can just use playing cards, which is what I end up using in this video. So what we're going to do now is we're going to warm the screen up. We're going to get it to about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason why we don't want to go too far past 180 is you don't want to screen burn or damage the polarizer on the display. Now, I actually should have started using playing cards in the first place. It would have saved me a little bit of trouble. I actually do damage the polarizer on the upper right-hand corner of the screen by using the wire. If you use just the playing cards, you shouldn't have a problem. I'm just going to get it nice and warm. Now, you can basically have a range in between about 180 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit before you start damaging the actual polarizer or burning it. I like to stay right as close to 180 as I can to give myself a little bit of room. So I'm just going to take it and stick it underneath the mobile wire here, and I'm pressing down to hopefully just hit the glass portion of it. You can kind of see it working on the screen here. And as I start to push it through, see if I can get it to start hitting the glass here. It starts to pull away. I can feel a little bit of friction, which is more than what you should normally feel. I start to kind of twist it, put a little more force on the wire. It snaps right there. So what we're going to go ahead and do is actually end up using a playing card. Went ahead and just stuck one in right now in the corner. That way I don't lose the heat that I've already put on the screen, and it'll hold that corner up. Alright, I've removed my little wire contraption, and here's the screen, just the card stuck in the corner of it. It's not extremely warm at this point, so what I have to do is go ahead and heat it back up. And really the goal is just to keep it there so I don't lose any of the heat and that corner getting started. So I'll show you what I did on this next corner. So I went ahead and got it nice and warm. Remember, 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the way that I like to kind of think of doing this screen is much like you'd see on a Samsung Galaxy S3, where you would basically remove the glass with the LCD in the frame still, remove the glass and then pull the LCD out and put it back into a mold. Dip the corner right in here. You can start to see the local glue start to peel off of the AMOLED. We're going nice and slow, nice even pressure. Now where the spiderweb cracking is right here, it's a little bit trickier to get the card to go through. So one of the key things about doing this repair is patience. Just take your time, and once you feel it start to get a little harder to push the card through, we're going to go ahead and apply more heat. We'll do this many times. Now it's nice and warm. We'll go ahead and put the card back through and press down. Just wiggle it back and forth. We get to where we want it with the speaker grill. Go ahead and try to put the card over the top of it. It's not extremely warm. We'll work on the speaker grill up here. Let's go ahead and push this down with my spudger. Put my card over the top of it. There we go. Apply more heat. And work our way down the sides again. You can see it's starting a little bit harder to push through the glue. So we'll have to go ahead and heat the screen up again. It's working both cards down each side of the phone. Not pushing extremely hard, just enough to get this to lift up. And let's say at a kind of a tough spot on the spider webbing of the glass, I'll kind of rock the card back and forth a little bit and get it to start to push up. And you'll see that it'll start to pull away from underneath the piece of glass before the card goes through. You can see this side's a little bit trickier than the other since there's so many more cracks here. If I find an extremely tricky spot, what I'll do is kind of put the corner of the card into the piece of glass that's being a little bit harder to get to pull up. Go ahead and apply some more heat. Check the temperature. Yep, definitely needs more. And again, just applying that nice even pressure all the way down. Getting closer to the actual shatter point, so it's getting a little bit trickier. And again, just taking my time. Apply more heat. Work the heat gun down here at the bottom again. Now, we want to be very careful as we reach the bottom of the phone here. We don't want to put our card all the way down through the bottom. The charge port cable, which we saw in the disassembly, wraps around underneath the screen here. So you see the multitask, the back button, and the home button cables are all still attached. So we're going to go ahead and just loosen it all the way down to the bottom where the screen bezel stops, and we'll stop short of going all the way down through the phone itself. Getting a little bit trickier down here at the bottom, so we'll go ahead and apply more heat. And this should be the last time we have to apply heat. This is being a little bit tricky, so I'm going to use the corner of the card to start the loco to move and then push through. It's a good example of where it gets a little more difficult around a crack on the device. So right here's the point of shatter impact, so it's just a little bit harder to get the card to go through. One more heat time apparently. Here we go. I'll stop right here, right above the bottom. You can see it frees up just a little bit. The card wants to go through a little bit easier. I'll stop right here. So now the reason why we want to be careful is the multitask the back button or adhere to the back of this piece of glass. So what we're going to do is go ahead and apply heat to the bottom, just right over the button area of the multitask the back button. Then we'll take a separate playing card here, and we're going to go over the top of the ribbon cable that goes underneath the piece of glass to make sure we don't sever it or cut it. And it's got some adhesive on the back of the glass as well, so we can kind of start to pull up a little bit on it as we start to remove it. The same thing with this side. Just go right underneath the piece of glass, going over the ribbon cable.
It's pro bono work. Dr. Berger's coroner now. I did do blood tests and found elevated levels of cardiac enzymes. That and his symptoms seemed sufficient.
Not anymore. We're getting a court order to exhume the body.
Oh my, I'm afraid that's going to be impossible.
You had it cremated?
No, I did.
Perfect. We can kind of start to pull it away now.
When she identified the body. She didn't have the
And
money
lift
to
it
keep home. She
forward.
wanted Saturday's ashes.
Make sure the buttons are not still attached to the glass. If they are, what you'll need to do is heat it up a little bit more and then take a tool or playing card and pull them off. Perfect. There we have it. We have the glass removed.
That will talk you out of it. Oh, I've known the pain a lot.
And the next step is let's double check and make sure that this AMOLED still works now that I have the glass removed. And you can see in the upper right hand corner, right next to the ribbon cable, like I was saying, I damaged the polarizer just a little bit there. I'll make another one of these videos with using just playing cards, which should come out a little bit better. I'll post that down here as well. If you didn't watch the disassembly of how to disassemble your S6, I'll throw that down in the description of the video. Make sure you watch that first, and you can see how it's disassembled. The disassembly does show the screen portion being removed, so you want to stop short of that if you're doing a glass-only repair.
What do you think,
was wearing it. Older lady seemed to like it. Had an ex-girlfriend who used it.
Is that why she's an ex-girlfriend?
We need to put this back in here so we get the
Sister misidentified her brother.
power button to attach so we can power this device on.
Have to report the autopsy.
Or you could just plug in your power cord as well, because sometimes it's a little bit trickier to get everything to sit nice and flush without screwing it down. So we'll go ahead and just use a power cable here and plug it in.
Can't imagine you drunk either. So,
Started to get a little bit scared though. I have a little bit of paint in my fingers from painting my house, and saw a little blue there. It's like, oh, the AMOLED's cracked.
So we are done with this then.
you are done.
Doesn't want to make contact with that power button.
Okay. He's not. What killed him?
Did you tell us?
The heart medication?
Yep.
So I need to reattach the cable down here at the bottom to put on the charge port so we can plug the cable in.
Oh, okay. So you think a leg and that Marine that died 2 years ago of a heart attack are tied together?
I do not believe in coincidences.
What about that rock formation on the moon that looks like Jay Leonard's chin?
It's perfectly normal.
On a racetrack, maybe.
Women will never understand taking a car ride and trying to beat your best time.
I hate it when men do that.
See, it's just a woman thing. How'd you do? Pretty good. Beat my time by 4 minutes, including construction detours. In Harmony. Oh, Doc Chalmers is a very sweet little old lady who, unfortunately also happens to be the local coroner.
Now if you want to watch the removal of this, the cleaning, and then the application of the Loca, all of those videos will be down in the description as well. So make sure you check those out if you want to see the final product of this.
Well, there must be some sweet dogger.
Well, it's more Dr. Chalmers.
Go ahead and plug it in. And we should see the battery screen here if it's still going to work for us. There we go. A little tricky to see there, but you can see that it's got the charge screen on. Perfect. Thanks for watching, you guys. As again, I said, you want to watch those additional videos, I'll throw them down in the description. If you want to see future videos, go ahead and subscribe to me. I try to throw up a couple a month. As always, I appreciate you watching. I hope to catch you on the next one.